we are having a meeting to launch a new project on capacity building of sustainable soil management for Africa, especially in Rwanda. So this is a new project funded by the People's Republic of China, and I want to thank the donor for this. Allow me to be the facilitator of this meeting. We will have like 4 sessions for this meeting. Shortly, an opening session that will be followed by a kind of presentation of the project and some challenges that are faced by the soil management in Africa. That will be followed by a 3rd session of questions and answers, where mostly the Secretariat of Global Soil Partnership and RAB officials will be asking questions and get answers. Then the 4th session will be a conclusion of this meeting. So I think we will not introduce everybody because we are about around 20 participants. So I'll give the floor to the main speakers to introduce themselves, and others, when we speak, probably we can introduce ourselves shortly. So personally, I'm Otto Muhinda. I work for FAO Rwanda as an assistant representative in charge of the program. So I'm seeing in the first opening session 4 speakers. I want to give the floor to themselves to introduce themselves before they can give us the remarks. So let me start by Mr. Galbe Behunu, the FAO representative to Rwanda. Mr. Behunu, please introduce yourself to participants.
Good morning to all. I'm Galbert Behunu, FAO representative in Rwanda. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wang from the South and Triangle Corporation, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wang Jinbiao, and I'm a senior FAO China Soil Source Cooperation Coordinator, working in the division of Soil Source and Triangular Cooperation at the FAO headquarters. Nice to meet you here. Thank you. Over.
Thank you very much. So, Dr. Buchagu, please introduce yourself also to participants.
Thank you very much. My name is Charles Buchagu. I'm the Deputy Director General for Rwanda Agriculture Board. And very appreciating your invitation and very happy to join this discussion. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, Mr. Wang from the Embassy of China in Rwanda. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Mr. Wang, you mute yourself, please. Please open your...
Oh, sorry. My name is Wang Jiaxin. You can call me by my English name, Hudson. And I'm the Economic and Commercial Counselor of the Chinese Embassy in Rwanda. I've been working outside China for 17 years, and Rwanda is my #5 country. And this is the 4th year of my term in Rwanda. I'm hoping I can live in Rwanda as long as possible.
Thank you very much. I want also probably to ask 2 or 3 colleagues to introduce themselves before we start. I would target Ronald from the Global Soil Partnership. Can you introduce yourself, Mr. Ronald?
Sorry, Ms. Dotto, I think, okay.
Yes. Sorry?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Ronald, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is really
We can't hear you. We are losing your voice.
Yeah, technology.
We don't hear you anymore.
Yes, yeah. So maybe we also go to Yuxin. Yuxin, who is working also in the South Asian Cooperation, and
Thank you,
who is directing this project. Can you also introduce yourself, Yuxin?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Otto. I'm Yixin Tong. I'm now working in Global Soil Partnership of FAO. We are really focused on sustainable soil management. I'm also very honored to be the coordinator of this project. Thank you very much. Nice to meeting you.
Yes, nice to meet you all. It's a pleasure to have all of you in this this opening and launch.
We're not hearing you.
Of the
You're coming out very broken.
So let's move to the first session. Mr. Galbebe, welcome. Broken myself.
Otto, I can't hear you properly, but I assume you are inviting me.
We are not hearing you. Yes, I'm inviting you for the welcome remarks.
Okay. Thank you, Otto. Moramutse.
Moraho.
Moraho Neza.
Yeah.
Good morning. Bonjour. Mr. Jianxing Wang, Economic and Commercial Counselor of Chinese Embassy to Rwanda.
Thank you. We met a number of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Professor Victor Shude, the chair of the African Soil Partnership.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Dr. Charles Bushagu, Deputy Director General Agriculture of the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board.
Thank you.
Dr. Pascal Rushemuka from Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board.
Yes.
Vicky Ruganzu. Dr. Jules Rutebuka, the project coordinator at national level.
Thank you.
FAO colleagues from headquarters, regional office, and sub-regional office. Jinbiao Wang from South-South and Triangular Cooperation.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Tong Yuzen, Fertility Coordinator.
Thank you very much.
Julia Stanko from Global Soil Partnership. Martin Ager from the Sub-Regional Office for Eastern Africa.
Morning.
Morning. Lucrezia, Sebastian Brahene, Isabel Verbeke, Ronald Vargas, the Secretary of the Global Soil Partnership hosted by FAO. FAO colleagues from Rwanda Country Office, all participants not named by me, just because I could not identify them from the list. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed and apologies for any breach of protocol. Welcome to this Inception workshop. It gives me much pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual Inception workshop of the project titled Capacity Development on Sustainable Soil Management for Africa, founded by the People's Republic of China through the FAO South-South and Triangular Cooperation Division in Rome. Sustainable soil management, the core of the project we are launching today, is of paramount importance in very many ways for the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goal 2 on zero hunger, Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty, Sustainable Development Goal 15, life on land, Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation, to name but a few. In most countries in the world, and particularly in Africa, poverty is rural, affecting farming communities much more than other socio-economic groups. For farming communities to break the poverty cycle, they must engage in sustainable agriculture, where sustainability is accounted for at 3 pillars: environment, economic, and social. It is only when sustainability is assured at environmental level that sustainability can be achieved at the economic and social levels, and therefore sustainable management of soils matters. Hence, this project has it right by focusing on capacity development on sustainable soil management. More so because agriculture is a major economic sector in Rwanda, with about 70 to 80% of its population living in rural areas and depending on agriculture for livelihood. It is worth noting that during the fiscal year 2019-2020, the agriculture sector contributed 25% to the gross domestic product of Rwanda. To maintain or improve the contribution of the agricultural sector to Rwandan economy, the country must address a number of challenges, particularly soil erosion and land degradation. Around 90% of Rwandan territory lies on slopes with the consequent effect of soil loss, erosion, and decrease in fertility. It is estimated that 1.4 million tons of soil are lost per year, accounting for a loss of $320,000 US. Clearly, agricultural production cannot be sustainable with this high rate of soil loss, and therefore the government of Rwanda has enforced actions at policy and governance levels in support to sustainable soil and landscape management. The project we are launching today intends to build upon ongoing actions of the government of Rwanda through capacity development in order to reverse soil degradation and improve soil fertility. The project will benefit not only from national institutions, but also from regional and global mechanisms addressing soil management. Among the regional and global mechanisms, I wish to emphasize particularly the African Soil Partnership and FAO Global Soil Partnership, a globally recognized mechanism established in 2012 to promote sustainable management, sustainable soil management. Both regional and global mechanisms provide support. Help build partnerships and networks to improve soil governance to guarantee healthy and productive soils. Support the provision of essential ecosystem services towards food security and improved nutrition, climate adaptation and mitigation, and sustainable development. The capacity development on sustainable soil management projects is expected within the framework of Global Soil Laboratory Network and the International Code of Conduct for Sustainable Use and Management of Fertilizers to build national capacities to analyze soil nutrients and other limiting factors in order to inform actions that must be taken to improve Rwanda's soil's nutritional status, soil organic carbon levels, etc. The project will achieve its results by articulating its implementation around the following pillars. 1, scientific and technical cooperation and support. 2, technical training and capacity development. 3, knowledge sharing through global and regional partnerships. This workshop will be as interactive as possible with questions and answers session at the end to hear your views and experience on soil management. The quality of participants makes me happy, and I anticipate the workshop will be very productive and will also be followed by a successful implementation of the project. Let me conclude my opening remarks here by expressing FAO's gratitude to the People's Republic of China for its financial support. We are very grateful. Participants, dear participants, I wish you successful deliberations. Thank you for your attention. Merci de votre attention. Murakoze Chane. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Galbert. Mr. Wang from the South Indian Corporation, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderate. Thank you. And Mr. Gabe, sorry, Mr. Gabe Huno, sorry, the FAO representative in Rwanda.
Yes.
And Dr. Charles Bukagu, Deputy Director General, Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Department, the Development Board, Republic of Rwanda, and Mr. Wang Jiaxing, the Economic and Commercial Consular of the Chinese Embassy in Rwanda, and distinguished guests. Dear colleagues, good morning again. I'm so glad to attend this Inception workshop for this project of the capacity development on sustainable soil management for Rwanda on behalf of the Source and the Triangular Cooperation Division of FAO. Firstly, I would like to congratulate both the FAO representation in Rwanda and the Land and Water Division at the FAO headquarters, as well as all the concerned stakeholders for the hard work you have done to enable the successful start of this project during such a challenging time. Soil plays a key role in addressing some of today's global challenges, such as food security, poverty reduction, climate change mitigation, adaptation, and resilience, among others. As such, soil contributes directly and indirectly to the achievement of 2030 agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals. However, soil fertility in this region in East Africa is declining at an alarming rate due to unsustainable practice that lead to the degradation of soil fertility, soil properties. Indeed, the current soil fertility management practiced by smallholders appear to be inadequate to count the outflow of nutrients. Given the population has been increasing in this region, this poses a big challenges for the countries to address the declining soil fertility trend. To avoid inappropriate fertilizer recommendations and the low adaptation of fertilizer use, good soil management practices suitable to the local situations is urgently needed. Current fertilizer recommendations need to be revised by taking into account the soil fertility status, the cropping systems, the plant's nutrients requirements, and the economic aspect of the fertilizer inputs. So dear colleagues, SSC and the China Agri Corporation can play an important role in this regard, supporting southern countries to share knowledge, technologies and expertise, experience and good practices through technical demonstration and capacity development. In these particular cases, with the financial support from the SSC Cooperation Assistance Fund from China, China's technology and assistance on soil management will be shared with Rwanda. Today, I'm delighted to witness the launch of this important project, aiming to develop capacities on sustainable soil management in Rwanda through the SSC Cooperation, within the framework of Global Soil Laboratory Network and the Soil Online Learning Platform, and the International Code of Conduct for Sustainable Use of Management of Fertilizers. I'm sure that the implementation of this project will benefit Rwanda through improving sustainable soil management as a direct contribution to achieving food security in the framework of Sustainable Development Goals. Dear colleagues, the SSC and the China Agri Cooperation Division is committed to doing our best to facilitate the smooth implementation of this project to achieve the anticipated results through in close collaboration with all the key stakeholders. And I wish a great success of this workshop and the successful implementation of this project. Thank you. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The floor is to Dr. Charles Buchagu, DDG RAB.
Thank you, Otto. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are, or good evening. Mr. Gualbert Gehunu, FAO representative Rwanda, Mr. Anping Yi, Director, South-South and Triangular Cooperation, Mr. Jiang Wong, Professor Victor, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, it is our great pleasure to be associating with these projects and really thank the government of China and the FAO for this initiative. And as the RAB and the Minagri, representing Minagri as well, we're very proud to be part of this initiative and to give our contribution. I just wanted to give a bit of policy framework that project will be implemented in. For those who are not familiar with Rwanda, as you all know, Rwanda has been gone very challenging and difficult times during the 1999 for genocide. And after this tragic period, the country has gone through a very important policy reforms to be able to boost the economic growth through a different policy framework, including the Vision 2020, but the other mid-term development framework, including economic development and poverty reduction strategy. One that was implemented between 2008 and 2012. And the next one from 2013 to 2018. Currently, we are implementing agriculture program through a strategic plan for agriculture transformation that will go from 2018 to 2024. Without also forgetting the Vision 2050 that has recently been finalized and completed. This one is aligned with the SDG goals. So when it comes to agriculture sector, it is regarded as an engine for agriculture economy for Rwanda, because this is a sector where 80% of the population get its job, but to get its living as well. And the sector contributes now for 30% of the national GDP. And currently the government is heavily investing with about 10% of the budget going to the agriculture. Basically, mainly focusing on increasing productivity to ensure food security through different activities, including use of input, use of quality seed, use of quality pesticide, and building infrastructure, that is erosion control infrastructure, but also other intervention like mechanization, irrigation, that are meant to support the primary production activities. And above all, what we also focusing is about how to transform agriculture from subsistence to more commercial oriented agriculture through land consolidation. As you all, for those who are not familiar with Rwanda, before 1994, agriculture was done mainly on small pieces of land. And in some cases, in most cases, less than 1 hectare. So the majority of farmers are still keeping very small pieces of land. So the current move towards making agriculture more commercial, it requires to practices agriculture on land pieces of land for the sake of scaling up the good technology that we are promoting, but to also to increase the production and productivity towards to respond to the market needs. So as achievement for the from the CIP, this is a crop intensification program, which is also part of land consolidation and the agriculture transformation process. The country has achieved a significant improvement in terms of crop yield improvement since 2013. And that has translated into improvement in food security, which a large part of the country that could move really from the food insecurity status to food security. And of course, this program has also involved a number of partners, both national and international, that we take an opportunity to really convey our gratitude. So the program, though we have noticed significant improvement in terms of production, in terms of food security, the sector is still facing a number of challenges. The first one is the low use of fertilizer. Currently, we have about 46% of the farmers using good input, but we still have to increase use of fertilizer and the other input. And we still see some yield gap at national level that need to be filled. Second is the inefficient use of fertilizer. For your information, currently we are using some blanket fertilizer rate across the country. And we are striving now to develop a crop and site fertilizer based recommendation to be able to match the fertilizer need with the type of soil, but also the type of crop. Because we believe crop nutrient requirement are different depending on the type of crops, but also soils are requiring different type of fertilizer and different rates. Yeah, so the third one is the weak link between soil data and the fertilizer fertility experimental result with the fertilizer recommendation. The last one is about nutrient losses that we still see as a major constraint, mainly because of erosion, landslide, and inefficient use of fertilizer. For your information, more than 50% of Rwanda is hilly with a slippery slope in a major part of this country. So meaning that soil erosion, landslide is still a major challenges that are actually affecting the efficient use of input. So as an expectation from these projects, RAB would be very happy to collaborate to develop an authoritative soil and experimental data through support to soil and plant laboratory equipments, but also capacity building for our soil scientists and the laboratory technicians. We hope the project to play a major, to contribute to the developing an informed decision, especially linking between soil data, fertilizer recommendation, and the crop yield. Use of quality fertilizer through a fertilizer quality control services, a sustainable production environment, but also support to increase high adoption of fertilizer in the country. Let me conclude these remarks by welcoming the contribution, welcoming the call for RAB to be part of the project, capacity development of sustainable soil management for Africa, and to sincerely thank the People's Republic of China and the FAO for this initiative and to commit Minagri RAB for effective collaboration, but also contribute our skills and expertise in this for the success of this project. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Buchagu, for your remarks on behalf of RAB and Minagri. The floor is now for Mr. Wang of the Embassy of China in Rwanda.
Thank you, Moderator Otto, and Malamute, my colleagues in Rwanda, and good afternoon for my colleagues in China.
Malamute.
This is the first after my participation in FAO program over the past half a century. So I'm very, very glad. So even though it is my first time, but I feel at home because both my parents are agriculturists and I was brought up in the northeast part of China, which is the barn of China's agriculture. So compare with my peers in my childhood, so I saw more vegetables crops, fruits, thanks just to my parents and also my region. But in the end, I betrayed them. I didn't become an agriculturist under my parents' influence. I become a diplomat. And also, maybe you don't know, because for this program, the donor is the SIPCA of China. China International say Development Cooperation say agency. That agency used to be a department of the Ministry of Commerce of China. And I used to be working for that department for 23 years. So I really feel at home to join this meeting. Very often, I think especially among the Chinese, I don't know about among Rwandans. So we call our country is the motherland. It seems that the relationship between our country and ourselves is the parent and children. And in my point of view, I view the relationship between human being and soil is parent and children. Human being are the parents and soil is the children. You know, imagine that we feed the soil, we feed our children. So we feed them with seeds, water, with irrigation or without, fertilizers, pesticide. And not only, in addition to this, we also help just the soil, our children to grow. So we need to help them with brains. We need to observe and monitor their growth. We make analysis about their growth. And we learn expertise from books, from other parents. And we modify our practices. And we improve our skills. And also, what is most important is we have to make sure our children grow sustainably. If we feed them not enough, they'll be suffering from malnutrition. If we feed them too much, they will be exposed to obesity. If they fail, if our children fail, if our soil fail, so we will have no food. We will have no future. The workshop is about soil management. I think just throughout East African countries, and we are suffering from the soil erosion. As the invitation said, and the East African countries are suffering from, say, very severe soil erosion at an alarming rate. And soil erosion could lead to infertility of the land, of the agriculture. So that will produce very poor productivity. And that will also endanger our food security when we have to waste a great amount of hard-earned foreign currency to purchase food, grains from other countries. As a result, so less money for economic development. And the soil erosion, infertility of the soil could lead to hunger. And if the population is suffering from hunger, so the children will be exposed to malnutrition and undergrowth. And when the children and the people are starving, and they will not afford schooling, so that will lead to poor education. And the poor education will lead to the lack of talents and lagging behind technologies. So that will be resulting in poor economic development. And the poor agricultural products will be given just less raw materials for industrial development, especially food processing industries. As I said just now, the soil erosion is widespread and is very serious in Rwanda and in East African countries. So I think it is a very urgent job just for all of us just to deal with. I think capacity building is the most important one, because whatever thing is in the world, it is designed by people, it is done by people, and it will be, the result will be faced by the people. So I'm always saying people are the biggest assets for a country. So it means the Rwandan people, the Rwandan agricultural and soil management technicians are the very valuable assets for Rwanda. I'm very grateful to be invited to join FAO's meeting, partnering with their Chinese counterparts, just with the Academy and also the Sitka, especially just under the pandemic, which is raging throughout the world and escalating by time. So, well, I can really tell that your enthusiasm and also responsibility for helping Rwanda and Eastern African countries to improve their soil management skills. I think just, you know, China is one of the biggest agricultural country in the world. And China has achieved, say, unprecedented agricultural miracles. For instance, in year 2020, China produced around 670 million tons of crops in the world, the largest producer in the world. And also China takes use of 7% of the territory around the globe to feed 20% of the population across the world. So it is a miracle. I think largely thanks to the rapid and sustainable technical development. So I firmly believe that working together with FAO, the Chinese partners, the Chinese technicians, Chinese agricultural academies, so they will be going all out and spare no efforts to work together with Rwanda, with East African countries, just to improve their soil management skills and to improve their agriculture and also their agricultural production. So in the end, so once again, I would like to thank very much your great invitation to me to join this very valuable and very significant event. So I'm very confident, and also I wish that the workshop will turn out to be a huge success. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Wang, and thank you for all the speakers for very inspiring remarks. You would allow me now to move to the second session that is about science, the soil science. So we will be having 3 presentations. The first one from Professor Victor on the sustainable soil management challenge and opportunities for soil fertility management in Africa. Then 2 presentations from one from RAB, another one from FAO. So in the interest of time, I will allow 10 minutes to each of the presenters. Then after all the 3 presentations, we will move to the question and answers. So without losing much time, let me give the floor to Professor Victor for his presentation of challenges and opportunities of soil fertility management in Africa.
But
Professor
moderator,
Victor, the floor is yours.
Moderator.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
If you could request all participants to insert their names. I see that there is one participant here that we cannot identify because what appears is just not numbers there. I'm pretty sure that the person can insert his or her number for us to know who is there. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, this is the person who have the phone number 286349.
Exactly.
That was the passcode of this Zoom meeting. So maybe he can identify himself so that we know also who he is. Is it Dr. Chagu?
No.
No, no. Who is 263349? Can you identify yourself, please? Okay. Meanwhile, let's move quickly because we are already 40 minutes behind to the presentation of Professor Victor. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me stand on the existing protocol. My name is Professor Victor Chude. I'm the chairman of the African Soil Partnership. It's a regional partnership under the Global Soil Partnership. I represent 43 focal points in Africa. My paper is on challenges and opportunities for soil fertility management in Africa. The important role soils play in sustainable existence, no doubt, has been established over time. Efforts of platforms such as the Global Soil Partnership, Intergovernmental Technical Panel on Soils, the European Union, Global Soil Laboratory Network, and the International Code of Conduct on Sustainable Use and Management of Fertilizers, as well as soils, continually ensures that issues relating to sustainable soil management are at the forefront towards promoting rapid agricultural development across the world. In Africa, the COVID-19, which continues to cripple activities, emphasize the need to look inwards for sustained growth and development in the midst of rising challenges. The question is, how do we harness available resources to ensure that the region's growing population has access to sufficient nutritious food? How do we harness available agricultural resources for economic growth amidst financial crisis? Like I said, these are some pertinent questions which sustainable soil management will surely address. Now, what do we mean by soil fertility management? And why soil fertility management? The need for soil fertility management can be found in its effects. It ensures increased productivity and subsequently reduces hunger, increased nutrient density of crops that guarantees efficient growth and productivity of crops. It leads to reduced poverty and hunger. We know that the correlation between degradation, hunger, and poverty is very, very close. There's a need for efficient sustainable soil fertility management to address the issue of climate change, adaptation and mitigation, and also to achieve a land degradation neutral world, as well as preserving biodiversity and ecosystem services. The challenges of soil fertility management in Africa. Previous speakers have enumerated challenges in specific countries. Generally in Africa, it's soil degradation. Within the context of soil degradation, you have nutrient depletion. Erosion, that of course results in nutrient depletion, partly, then acidification, salinization, compaction, chemical pollution. Little room for expansion of arable land, is part of the problem. Soil and terrain constraints are found within the challenges of soil fertility management. Then the issue of climate change. There's the issue of policy and governance issues. There are legal issues referring to Land Use and Protection Acts, Land Administration Service Delivery, not favor sustainable soil fertility management. Taking a peep into Rwanda, we've listened to previous speakers talk about what are the current challenges. Let me just back what you said. There's the issue of land degradation caused by soil erosion, soil fertility decline, inadequate knowledge of proper soil land use practices by land managers and other stakeholders. There's the issue of poor land management practices, low fertilizer use, and inappropriate fertilizer use. Fertilizer use not based on the needs of the soil and the crop. Low adoption rates of improved technologies amongst our farmers. And then there's also the issue of growth in population growth. What is the progress made so far? Although efforts have been made by national governments, but they are not commensurate with the magnitude of the challenges in the region. An extract from FAO publication on boosting soils in Africa show the progress made so far. On the 12 resolutions made during the Abuja Declaration on Fertilizer for African Green Revolution. This was a big conference held in Abuja 2006, targeted at sustainable soil fertility management. Just quickly, on the establishment of policy and regulatory frameworks as part of the 12 resolutions, the score is unsatisfactory. Capacity building for quality control, satisfactory. Admission of taxes and tariffs, unsatisfactory. Development of agro-dealer network, satisfactory. Distance traveling to purchase fertilizers, fairly good. Increase in the proportion of farmers using chemical fertilizers, good. Increasing market size, partially satisfactory. Introducing target subsidies, satisfactory. Introducing national financing facilities for imports and agro-dealers, good. Introducing regional procurement initiatives, satisfactory. Improving access to complementary inputs, satisfactory. But the establishment of the financing mechanism, it's unsatisfactory. Then the opportunities for soil fertility management in Africa. One is direct and indirect contribution to the achievements of several SDG goals in the region, which include SDG 1, zero poverty, SDG on zero hunger, SDG 3, good health and well-being. These have been mentioned by a few previous some speakers earlier on. Then there's an opportunity on climate change adaptation and mitigation. If you get the fertility right, then of course, the issue of climate change is addressed. Then effective management of land degradation. If you ensure that the soils are properly managed, then the effective maintenance of securing land tenure under the voluntary guidelines on the responsible governance of tenure of land, fisheries, and forestries in the context of the national food security. It's another opportunity. Preservation of soil biodiversity is properly taken care of. to ensure that the soils are properly maintained. Now call for action. Something has to happen. Improvement in national soil governance across all levels, is an area that has to be promoted. And what am I talking about? There's a need to formulate favorable policies, creating enabling environment, adequate funding, high level dialogue. We are advocating Abuja 2. We had Abuja 1. There's the need for Abuja 2 to document the progress made so far and what are the gaps. Then another call for action is the need to continually act as stewards of the soil. There's a lot of negligence to our soils, mismanagement of our soils. We need, through what is being anticipated, what is being planned for Rwanda and Uganda, for proper stewards of the soil. Promotion of participatory and integrated soil-based research should be part of this project. I'm sure it is. Intensified use of available soil maps. Well, let me just mention that some of the soil maps in Africa are very obsolete. There's a need to update our maps. Sensitization, information dissemination is key. This project, the Chinese, will be implemented in these two countries, will provide opportunity for proper sensitization and information sharing on sustainable soil management. Intensification of workers' collaboration. There's a need for us to break our silos and work together towards achieving a common goal. In this case, ensure that our soils are sustainably management so that we can bequeath to the next generation a productive soil. Establishment of regional soil reference systems. Different countries have their own classification systems and all that. And it's not helping. There's a need for proper integration. Develop individual and institutional capacities on sustainable soil management in Rwanda. This we are looking forward to happen to happen through this Chinese projects in Rwanda and in Uganda as well. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Victor, Professor Victor. Thank you very much for this information, very, very important that is needed before we start this project implementation. So this will be completed by, it will be completed by challenges and opportunities of soil fertility management in Rwanda especially. And we are going to give the floor to the project focal point, who is Dr. Rushemuka Pascal. Yes, we will just take note of different questions that will be raised over these three presentations. Then after all the three, we will have an open session for all the questions and answers. So Pascal, the floor is yours. Pascal, do you hear me?
Yes, yeah, okay.
Okay, you have a presentation.
Thank you very much.
The screen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman. And good morning again for everybody. I think the facilitation will share my presentation. And during their doing that, I hope I can take this opportunity to present myself. I'm Rushemuka Pascal, and I'm the focal point for Rwanda for Global Soil Partnership. And I take this opportunity to greet my colleague, Professor Chude, and everybody. And I'm also the focal person for this project. And if my presentation is ready, I can go through and Yuxin, is someone sharing my presentation?
Okay, I can share your presentation.
Yes.
Okay, let me share your presentation now.
We'll give you 10 minutes maximum, huh? To make sure that we...
Can you see my...
At 23, I will have finished. Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll be saying next. Okay.
Okay, please.
Yeah, okay. The title of the project, of course, is Capacity Development on Sustainable Soil Management for Africa. And the benchmark of this project is on Rwanda. Next slide, please. As they say, I want to begin by challenges, opportunities, and highlight the challenge at the end. Next slide, please. Yeah, now this next. Yeah, as the DDG RAB, Dr. Tas Butagu say, everything starts by political will. And in this framework, after the 94 genocide, Rwanda has undergone very important and deep policy reform that allowed the country to move from subsistence agriculture to more intensive and market-oriented agriculture. Of course, this has been possible because of this long planning term, most known in Rwanda as Vision 2020, and a different term, mid-term implementation stage that reduced very significantly the poverty. After the reduction of poverty, we have entered development first. Next slide. Okay. From this policy enabling environment, Rwanda has much soil data information. Indeed, Rwanda is subdivided into 12 agroecological zones. Rwanda has a soil map at medium scale, which allow to know the potential fertility of Rwandan soil. And Rwanda has a long experience in soil fertility management with crop response fertilizer and other management like manure and lime. We do have a long experience on that. Next slide. Okay, Rwanda has also enjoyed a very conducive financing framework, with the country fulfilling the Malabo Declaration of investing 10% of national budget to agriculture. Rwanda also is a good mobilizer of resources because we do implement World Bank project, UNDP, AGRA, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, IFDC, and many projects of FAO. Next stage. Next slide, okay. Currently, we do have two similar projects to this one, and both of them are financed by Bill Melinda Gates Foundation. One is about Rwanda Soil Information System, which is a comprehensive soil survey and soil fertility management all over the country. And another is kind of guiding investment in acidic soil, because we do have many acidic soil, and without good or proper investment, there is no sustainable response to fertilizer. So liming and manuring is a part of sustainable soil fertility management in Rwanda. Next slide. We do also have a good research and extension system that help to create impact. The thing is that in the arena of reforms, the government of Rwanda has found it very interesting to combine research and extension into one institution, whereby research think about research and extension to create impact. Rwanda also has a very decentralized extension system up to the village level, the village which is a 5 level of administration. And here at this point, I think there is a collaboration framework with FAO, with soil doctors. I think this kind of is a very conducive framework. Rwanda also have extension system. In the extension system of Rwanda, scientists are involved, agronomic officers are involved at district level, and farmer promoter are trained and help other farmers to understand the soil. Next. Rwanda has also scientific capacity with soil scientists trained all over the world, and many of them working in lab and in university. Rwanda also has a network of soil laboratory, with the laboratory of Rwanda being the reference laboratory in the AfriLab network of global soil partners. Next. Now, despite all these things which are presented as well, some constraints are there, and they'll be always there. Next. Among the constraints, we do have like lack of consistent training and supporting program for soil laboratory technician. There is insufficient equipment in some laboratory field, including biological laboratory. Yeah, and this is a big gap in the era of climate change, where we need to assess the carbon sequestration and microbial activity and other important phenomena in the soil. Insufficient capacity of maintaining some equipment. Okay. Another constraint is that we do have, no, it's okay, it's okay. You can, the Rwanda environment is diversified. We do have different soil type, changing of soil distance, but with the soil map can show with the soil distribution law. We do have also challenging soil sample and experiment results representativeness. We do have also less use of soil sample result. We still use blanket fertilizer recommendation, as DG say. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, okay. There is now a big portion of also agriculture is rampant. There is poor response of fertilizer in the acidic soil with low content of carbon content. Soil without liming. There is low sustainability of crop response to fertilizer without sustainable supply of organic manure. And most of time, the fertilizer profitability is not determined. Next slide. There is additional constraints, such as in some region adoption is good, and in the other region adoption is not good. And the yield gap is a main challenge that should attract the attention of scientists. Next. Yeah, next. Now we are going to focus. I know Yuxin will present much detail, but for the moment, this project intended to support the equipment of efficient laboratory soil testing, improve soil data collection and utilization, contribute to the framework of fertilizer quality assessment, conduct fertilizer use demonstration toward efficient use of fertilizer, contribute to improvement of the national fertilizer services, capacity building to improve the understanding of soil and fertilizer use, and collaborate with university to teach cutting-edge knowledge of soil. Next, and is the last, now, we have already, in the process of procurement, we have some important equipment which touch chemical in the laboratory, but there is a field kit. There is also physical and chemical. The idea here is that in sustainable soil fertility management, we don't focus only on fertilizer or on chemical, but we see by physical, biological, and chemical fertilizer, and we want to procure some equipment that will help us to have authoritative data that could inform both policymaker and scientists. Next, and in the end. Next slide is a thank you for everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pascal. This is a very informative wonder. Coming from FAO, Mr. Tong Duxin, to give us a kind of snapshot of the project implementation. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Mr. Otto Mejia. Thank you very much. I will share my screen again now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
We can see your yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
Yes.
Otto. Thank you, distinguished participants. I'm Yuxin Tong. I'm very honored to be here as the coordinator of this plant to introduce the implementation plan of South-South Cooperation Assistance Fund soil project in Rwanda. As many keynote maker and the reporter mentioned that soils is fundamental and very essential, very important element in crop production system. It is commonly known that 95% of our food comes from our soils. So in many cultures of our world, soil was named as mother of life, or children of life. So it's really important, it's fundamental, it's our responsibility to protect these important resources of our human being. So to protect soil, we must firstly to know the study of soil and what our human being did on soils. So in 2015, Global Soil Partnership and its advice body, International Technical Panel on Soils, ITPS, together developed a landmark publication called Studies of the World Soil Resources. Experts from world, globally experts together evaluate the studies of soils, also at regional. So in Sub-Saharan Africa, as you can see, soil erosion is the #1 threat, and also soil nutrition imbalance is a very important and a very big threat to soil also. So let's back to the project. That's why we developed this project to protect soils on the aspect of soil fertility. So this project is South-South Cooperation Soil Project, which funded by China, by China International Center for Economic and Technical Exchanges from Ministry of Commercial, and the implementation organization FAO representation in Rwanda, and also Land Water Division of FAO. Our key partner in Rwanda is Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board, RAB, and the period of the project is from July 2020 to June 2022. How to implement this project? From FAO side, we would like to use 3 key platforms to implement the project. First one is the fertilizer code, the International Conduct of Sustainable Use and Management of Fertilizers. And the second one is GLOSOLAN, Global Soil Laboratory Network. The third one is EduSource, which is an online e-learning soil education platform. So the International Code of Fertilizer is our first platform to implementing the project. After the launch of this code in 2019, FAO developed an implementation plan at a national level, which including assess national capacities on soil fertility management and fertilizer use, national trainings on sustainable use and management of fertilizers, offer trainings to retailers and agro-tailors, harmonize of methods and data on soil fertility, balanced precision fertilizer recommendations, and polite side to be implemented to test the result of the fertilizer code principles, and review and help to develop national policies for best use and management of fertilizer management practices. You can see all those elements, all those activities in our project. So what is GLOSOLAN? GLOSOLAN was established to build and strengthen the capacity of laboratories in soil analyticals and to respond to the need for harmonizing soil analytical data. So this is about promote soil testing, fertilizer testing in laboratory, this network. And EduSource proposed a series of training materials and e-learning courses on soil-related issues. In this project, we will develop a series of several training materials will include, but not limited to, video tutorials, presentations, posts, and webinars in this project on soil fertility issue. So now let's go into the basically implementation plan of this project. We have 3 outputs in this project. First one is scientific and technical cooperation promoted. The first activity of this output, we will provide equipment for efficient laboratory soil testing and efficient fertilizer testing. We will work with partners in Rwanda. I think it's Soil and Plant Laboratory belong to RAB. We already together analysis the list of equipment and add some equipment that the laboratory needed, such as the fertilizer testing equipment. Now we already sent our list to FAO Division for Procurement. So it's under the procedure of FAO Equipment Procedure Division. So we hope we will get the equipment soon, later. Then we are also training the laboratory technicians for using the equipment. The second output of a second activity of output 1 is the support soil sampling, collection, analysis, and finally develop a soil fertility database. We will work with cooperation with the local partner together to collect at least 500 soil samples and analysis those soil samples, finally develop a soil fertility database. The third activity of output 1 is content fertilizer quality assessment. When we are talking about promote soil fertility, we cannot avoid fertilizers because till now, the most nutrition resources to cropping system come from fertilizers. And the quality of fertilizer is fundamental. We need some good quality fertilizer for using in our cropping system. So in this activity, we are working with partners in Rwanda together, collect at least 100 fertilizer samples and analysis those samples. Finally, we would like to establish a fertilizer database in Rwanda. The number 4 activity of output 1 is conduct field experiment and demonstrations. I noticed that I think it's a deputy director of RAB mentioned that, and Pascal also mentioned that there already have extension services system in Rwanda. It's very good because extension services is always very important for demonstrate, for introduce good soil management practices in the country level. But also farmers would like, from our experience, sometimes farmers want to see the result of management practice, then they trust you. So in this activity, we would like to develop field experiment to test the good management practices. Here I think in Rwanda, we will tackling the soil fertility management improvement, also targeting the soil erosion issue and the soil acid issue, because in Rwanda, these two elements are very, two issues are very important also for the soil fertility management. We will integrate management practice targeting soil fertility, but also soil erosion and soil acid acidification in Rwanda, in the region. Thank you. And the number 5 activity of output 1 is establish a fertilizer service. So a good and healthy fertilizer supply chain, fertilizer market always be very important and very crucial at the national level to promote soil fertility management. So here we would like to organize training sessions to multiple related stakeholders, for example, the people on the ground to sell fertilizers, etc., to introduce good fertilizer technology, production knowledge, and also the knowledge of fertilizers. So we hope from this project, we can help to try to help to promote the fertilizer supply chain in the country. So now we are going to the output 2, national capacities on sustainable soil management practices are enhanced. The first activity of this output 2 is develop a course on soil mapping and monitoring in this case, in this project. We will work with our colleagues in FAO and of course with the partners in Rwanda together to develop this course and then integrate this course to the EduSource platform. The second activity of this output is establish EduSource platform. Now from FAO, we've already established the EduSource platform in our website. You can see this link here and you can see the EduSource platform now. But of course, after the project, we will improve the website and input the courses from this project and courses for Rwanda. The output, the activity 3 of output 2 is support to organizing at least one trainings. This trainings is training the trainers. For example, the teachers in the university and the officers in the extension services system to use the EduSource platform and to use our crops, how to use our crosses. So this is training to trainers. And the activity 4 of this output is specifically training. It's organized dissemination workshop for university to demonstrate availability of ideal soil platform. We will training the end users in terms of farmers and extensionist students in the university by learning knowledge from our ideal soil platform on sustainable soil management and the knowledge of fertilizers. So now we're going to the output 3, knowledge sharing between global and regional partnerships is promoted. And the first one is we will develop a policy brief, which is a summary of the result of this project. We have a lot of activities in below outputs. Then we will summarize the results and develop policy brief. Hopefully the policy brief can help the Rwanda to promote the sustainable soil management and fertilizer use. The last activity of this output is organizing international workshops in Rwanda. We would like to organize at least one international workshop in Rwanda and to show the result, show the experience, show the knowledge we developed in this project, especially to show the result experience to countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, because the countries there may have same issues, and then we can show our result and exchange knowledge during the international workshop. So now we are already in the January of 2021. So we have a lot of activities need to do, but I believe after this incentive workshop, we already together discussion the activity, and I believe we can together successfully implementing the project and have a good result in the end of 2022. Thank you very much. I'm an international coordinator of the project, but also in this inception workshop, I would learn knowledge and information from your side, because you are the experts, you are the officers on the ground in Rwanda. You know more knowledge, more situation of Rwanda than me. So I'm here really happy to meeting you, and we can discuss in the next discussion session. And please also feel free to contact me, Mr. Otto and Mr. Josephi by below emails with any comments, suggestions, ideas regarding this this project. Thank you very much. Thank you very much again for your attention. Over to you, Mr. Otto.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I think at this stage, we all have the needed information for asking questions, making comments, and answering also if you have an answer or on different questions asked by colleagues. So this is an open session that is going to happen now. So I want to invite everyone. We are 32 participants already. So let me open the floor for comment or any on different things that were. I wish to start by the speakers for the moment. Donald have not spoken, but I expect to now. The internet is connecting from his side. Then the colleagues from Rwanda Cultural Board, and eventually FAO colleagues at different areas. I know Martin Ager is in charge of soil and water management in South Region Office, and others that I'm seeing on the list. So the speakers, Mr. Galbel, do you think you have any comment on different things that have been said?
Thank you, Otto. I have to say that you may have noticed that I left the call because I had to join the UNCT meeting. I'm just coming back from that UNCT meeting. But from what I heard, since I came back, I have nothing really to add, if not to congratulate, the presenters for the presentations they made. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I see Charles have already left the meeting. Okay, Mr. Wang from the South Corporation.
Hello?
Yes, Charles, you haven't
I was just writing a message to you, letting you know that I have to leave now for another meeting. Actually, it has started 11:30. But we have other colleagues from RAP, including Dr. Pascal, Dr. Jules. Jules, who is coordinating Rwanda Soil Information System.
Yes.
I just wanted to highlight that this initiative actually is welcome and is coming at the right time, because we are also implementing more or less similar or related projects. This one is Rwanda Soil Information with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And the whole objective is to be really to map the soil fertility status of the country, and try to develop crop and allocation specific recommendation to address the issues of use of blanket recommendation in this country. But also touching on the lime recommendation for Rwanda, but also connecting this with the erosion risk assessment and the estimate of investment that are needed, because we believe the erosion also affecting fertilizer use and efficiency, as it was noted in the various presentations. So we stand to really intensify collaboration with this initiative. I have seen the presentation with the global soil network that is, we are going to, we're already talking to some people there with the Glossolan initiative. So we see collaboration with that and to be part of the global soil ongoing work and effort. So on this note, just to thank to welcome this initiative, to thank the funding institutions and the government of China, and commit ourselves to really work together to address the issues of soil fertility management here in Rwanda, but in Africa and the worldwide. Yeah, so thank you very much. And the colleagues from RAB are on board. We have a number of scientists who will continue contributing to this discussion. So we look forward for fruitful collaboration and the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Charles, for your participation to this Inception workshop. I wish you a good day.
Yeah, okay. Let me check if Mr. Wang from HQ, the corporation is having something to say. Okay. If no, we try also. Mr. Wang from the Embassy of Rwanda in Rwanda, the Embassy of China in Rwanda. Do you have any comment on the information shared so far? Okay, I don't see. I see a hand that is raised by Guillaume. Guillaume is trying to make a comment. Guillaume, are you connected? You wish to say something?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mohinda. My name is Guillaume. I'm the principal of the College of Agriculture, University of Rwanda, and I've followed with great interest the presentation done by different presenters from FAO, the government of China, and RAB. And myself, I'm a soil scientist by training. And so you can understand the interest that I have for this whole topic. And I was invited by Dr. Pascal, a colleague of mine also, for a long period of time. And I was thinking that it would be good to share the slides, the presentations, but also I would like to see how our University of Rwanda, because we're talking about the capacity building, we would like to see how we could also join this initiative and be able to contribute as well. Because if we talk about capacity building, training and sharing knowledge, surely the University of Rwanda has to be part of this initiative. And we already appreciate what has been done. And by seeing this, the objective of this project, we could see how we as University of Rwanda could also be part of this initiative. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is notice taken on that. And while we are establishing a project task force, we will probably, yes, involve you building and also of research. There's a number of things that University of Rwanda could contribute to this project in the future, of course, of the soil management in Rwanda. So Ronald, are you around? I want to give the floor for your questions and some comment on the information shared already. Ronald Vegas?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we do, please. No, we have lost you just the moment you said, do you hear me? We are seeing you, but the voice is not
what about now?
audible. We don't. Now it's okay.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Ronald, again, we cannot hear you.
We are losing one voice, then 1 second on, etc. So
I will connect from another computer. Okay, keep up.
Okay, now please connect through the computer, and while you are connecting, let's give the floor to Gilles. I see a hand raised from Gilles. Gilles, you want to make any comment or any question to be asked from your side? Gilles.
Can you hear me?
The floor is yours. Gilles, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. We do hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
You may put also video on.
Ah, you want my video? Probably the place I'm saying it's not safe for putting a video, maybe.
You are okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, we see. You're on phone probably. You're using your phone probably. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm using my phone. Thank you very much for giving me this time. I like the project, and the project coming is very well welcome because feeding the needs of the soil protection or soil management in Rwanda. As I said, I'm coordinating a project called Rwanda Soil Information Services, and this project is intending to give the general picture, the general image of fertility information for Rwanda, soil fertility, but also providing information about the needs of fertilizer recommendations that are not blanket for the whole country, but are scope and site-specific. Of course, there's also, as the DDG chart said, there's also about erosion control systems. But the third one, which I think that will be very relevant for you also, this project is going to do a lot of research and a lot of activities that they'll be collecting information and data. So in my project, in our project, we are trying to make a system, a digital system that will have together all the legacy data in the national scale in one system where they'll be giving people to inform policymakers, farmers, investors, and so on. And I think this project also provide more information, more data that are really site-specific in the country and to inform people different information. So as I saw in the presentation, there are a lot of capacity building. And for the moment, I think what we need in the country is we need to help farmers to build their capacity and to invest through different approaches. And one of the approaches we are promoting, which is in PSTFO, is to make a PPP, public-private partnerships, where farmers, they will have that kind of big cooperatives, strong cooperatives, and collaborate with the local authorities or government agencies to work together and to invest in agriculture, to invest in livestock. So I think this should be considered in this project to build the capacity in the framework of the context of PPP approach. The other thing is that erosion in Rwanda, you cannot escape erosion control when you are doing fertility management. And this also should be considered. I think maybe the project should think about the alternative of other soil, cheap soil management system, soil erosion control management system. You know, the country is promoting terracing, but there are other alternatives, not only terracing, that can control erosion and improve soil fertility. There are other approaches that can be done and improve soil management, but also control erosion in different areas. And then this project can also consider that aspect. I don't have much information details of the project, but I think these are the most important thing before going to the part of fertilization. As I see, you put focus for the balanced fertilization, but you should also think of capacity building as PPP approach, but also soil erosion control management as complementary to the balanced fertilization. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jim, for your contribution. We are taking note of this, or what you are saying around digital system, data gathering, also the PPP approach. In the capacity building, probably that is where we will find room to do so. Vicky Ruganzu, you have raised the hand. Now I give you the floor. Vicky, I see you on the list. Are you following? You want to take the floor and speak, ask a question, make a comment?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm called
Go
Vicky.
ahead, put your video on so that people can just see you when you are speaking.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Vicky. I'm just trying to add on what Gilles has said, because I've seen in the different presentation which have been given, they were talking about the land soil degradation or land degradation. which is about erosion and fertility degradation. But in the activities presented by Pascal, we didn't see much about soil erosion. That's what the question I was asking myself, whether the project really is going to tackle the issue of soil erosion, which is a big issue in the country. That's one. I think Gilles has elaborated much about that. And the second point is on the presentation done by Yoxin. He mentioned something related to fertilizer quality assessment. And I'm asking myself whether it is very, very important, but the issue I'm trying to mention here is the people who have to be involved in. We have an institution like RICA. I think this is it is in the mandate of RICA. It has to be brought on board on this aspect. Yeah, another aspect I think is on the capacity development. Here I'm trying to ask who are the target group in the capacity development in this specific project, because what I saw in Pascal's presentation, it is like it's going just to, it is just targeting the technical people from RAB, like a scientist, a technician, but unless maybe I didn't get it well, I didn't see much on other stakeholders, farmers who can be involved, targeted in the training. I think those are the few comments and questions I would like to raise. Thank you so much.
Okay, very good. I just respond to some of the questions, and other colleagues will also respond to them. The issue of erosion control. This project will not work on public works to control erosion. It's a capacity building project. So it will not really undertake any terraces, establishment, etc. It's just a capacity building project. The quality assessment of fertilizers, you are right, we will speak as we will do, we'll be speaking to the University of Rwanda. We will also speak to RICA. I guess you talk about RICA as there are two RICA in Rwanda and they are all relevant. There is a Rwanda Inspection and Certification Authority, which is relevant for the quality of fertilizers. But there is also Rwanda Integrated. It's also a learning and which of them you are thinking about. I think they are relevant, but yours was like, what do you want to talk about? Which RICA?
RICA, the former RICA Minagri.
Okay, that is, yeah. Inspection Certification Authority is also relevant for this project. We will try to enlarge as much as possible the stakeholders. And when we do trainings for trainers, all these institutions will be targeted to make sure that everyone involved have the information at the same time, and they could also contribute, because it is not one-way information sharing. They could also contribute to the best results of this project. I think that will come. But I will leave a room for Pascal to answer some of these questions that you have asked. So can I go back to Ronald if he is connected? Ronald is coming from the Global Soil Management Secretariat. Ronald, are you now ready?
Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I think now it will be possible. So thank you very much. Apologies for all the issues I had before. First, well, this is the inception workshop of the project. So I'm really very happy that this is taking place so that we can move into full implementation now. Congratulations to everyone, and also to especially gratitude to, of course, our friend Wolberg, who is the FAO representative in Rwanda, all colleagues from RBA, and especially, of course, the donor. Well, I have been listening to the different questions, and so I believe that from our side, you know, I'm working at the Land and Water Division in FAO headquarters, and I'm the secretary of the Global Soil Partnership. So what we are trying to do is the promotion of sustainable soil management. And this project, hopefully, is just the start of what we want to do in Rwanda. Okay, the ambition is bigger. So I know we should be focusing also on trying to address erosion, etc. But this is just the start. And the start was in a topic that it is common to us, which is soil fertility, because as you know, African ambassadors always complain that fertility is the issue number one. However, we understand that this is context-based, and we should also address the issue of erosion. So we will not forget it. But the key for us is developing capacities, and that's why this project is very much focused on that issue. And at the same time, as you know, Rwanda is very active in the Global Soil Partnership, so we are always trying to see how to improve and how to provide different trainings, like we have been doing with salinity mapping, or now we are working on carbon sequestration potential mapping, because those are topics that are really getting a lot of attention and also follow-up actions. So I really hope this project will be a success, but only that will be possible if we count with the ownership of the colleagues from Rwanda, from the ministry, from the research agency, etc., and also universities, of course. We are here to support you, to serve you, to do whatever is in our hands to make this project and further a success, so that then we can take it as an example and then ask again the donor to scale it up. So that is the idea. And I really hope we will count with all your support, engagement, and make this really a success with impact. I don't have particular questions, but only to reiterate that you can count with us. Of course, Yuxing is fully on board on this, but you also have us, all the team in the Global Soil Partnership, ready to support you, not only with the activities of this project, but beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your intervention and support from the division. Yes, actually, all these stakeholders are interested really in the project. And I think a number of other initiatives which do exist at the country level will build synergies with this project funded by the People's Republic of China. So I want to give the floor to Sirikari, is a senior officer also in RAB. I hope he's following. So if he's around, he can take the floor to intervene also. Yeah, is no longer there, I think. So FAO Rwanda colleagues, is there anyone who wants to say something on this project? Yes, Joseph? You can take the floor and speak.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I have a comment on this project, saying that it comes to respond to some needs of farmers. like the relevance and the appropriate recommendation for their feed. As you know, some farmers have a small land, and this partnership, PPP, said by Gilles, the digital tools usage, and the response for balanced fertilization, for the improvement of soil health and achieving the food security. I think this is a good result we're expecting from this project, because farmers will know how much fertilizer is needed to produce, and they will know how much to invest, because sometimes farmers take the inputs, seeds, fertilizer, and they bring it to the soil, and they don't know what the soil needs. And from the recommendation from this project, after the sampling, analysis, those recommendations will bring some results to farmers. And it's a good initiative. And I thank the partners, donors, and everybody in general for the contribution to this project. And I thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you. Mr. Martin Ajer from the sub-region office in Addis. We haven't heard about your comment.
Okay.
So make a comment.
Yes, I have nothing particularly to add. I've been listening with interest to the description of the project. As many contributors have already said, soil erosion maybe is also a very big problem in Rwanda with all the hills, and that's maybe more my side than the soil chemistry side. But as always, the sub-regional office stands ready to help Rwanda in any way we can, even though the lead technical officer won't be with us in this case. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. We know that you are providing usual support to Rwanda, and we are very, very grateful. So now we are 10 minutes past midday. So we have planned to end the meeting 30 minutes ago, but the subject is with much interest. So I'm going to give the floor to two people who have been working really on this project, Mr. Tom from FAO headquarters, and Pascal for your comments before we can move to the next session of closing. So Tom, Mr. Tom, can you take the floor?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Otto. Yes, I want to also respond some questions that targeting the activities. Yes, I accept that the soil erosion is the #1 threat in Rwanda, but this project is focused on the soil fertility management, as Mr. Ronald Vargas mentioned that this is the regional projects together, and the activities somehow are similar. But I think considering the situation for Rwanda, the soil fertility management could land with soil erosion. If you already have a good management practice on soil erosion, we can add soil fertility management practices in those erosion practices. For example, during the erosion slope region, a very important issue is the runoff. When you input fertilizers, the runoff can bring a lot of nutrition outside the farmland. So we can targeting those issues with erosion together, because when there is the erosion, the soil fertility decreasing, we must add more nutrition that to support the cropping system to production, but we can combine the practice together. We can together to develop more detailed plan, detailed practice together later. But your knowledge will be very precious for us to develop those practices because from erosion part. For acid soils also is important because related to soil fertility fertilizers, a different type of fertilizers can change the pH of soils, for example, ammonia fertilizers and nitrate fertilizer. So in this part, we can also put some efforts to this aspect during the practice part. For other things, I think almost most of them already responded by Mr. Otto, and very good response. For this meeting, I only want to mention another thing is we will share the presentations, recordings. We already recording the workshop. We will share the presentations, recordings, agendas, all materials together to you after the meeting. And also we will develop with the report of this workshop. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Otto.
Yes, thank you. I've already responded to a number of questions, especially those asked by Gilles and Vicky. So, Pascal, you have also things related to what a RAB can do, the synergies to build between this project and collaboration with other existing projects. Those are things that are also important at this stage. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I try to be very short because time has gone, but I try also to be consistent. About Professor Guillaume Nyagatare, I think this project has a very component of aid soil, and we will have time to develop common action plan where university will really benefit from this project. So I can guarantee that we will collaborate with university. The second intervention is that I know sustainable soil management, everything there, but the focus of this project, the core is the quality of data, the quality of input, and erosion may come indirectly, but we are happy that we do have other many projects that are focused on erosion, other big program. So it is not forgotten. And of course, if the capacity of Rwandan scientists is raised, then they can do another good project and be funded separately, I hope. But of course, this time is to produce quality data to increase the capacity of scientists to farm different people. At this level, I think we not only train scientists, we will train scientists along the extension system with 5 levels in Rwanda, whereby farmer promoter will be trained, which will help, will benefit directly to farmer. So the training needs assessment will be done, and where deemed necessary, we will develop such kind of training. The private-public partnership is also possible because, for instance, the RICA need quality data. It is their mandate to do quality control of fertilizer, but they need support from research. So they be involved, they be very happy to have us on board, and we as well will be happy to see RICA achieving mandate. So it is not contradictory, it is rather complementary, which is good. So I think everything is done, but I hope also there is the project have flexibility as we work on action plan. Every relevant idea will be welcome. It is just a start. We'll be orienting the project on the need of our farmer, our scientists, of course, in the limit of the framework of the project. And if another need is identified alongside, it will be a room to develop other projects of the same donor, because I'm happy Vargas has said it is just a beginning, and if we achieve great things, to attract the other fund to address all the issues which could be identified. So thank you for everybody. Thank you, Otto.
Yeah, thank you. I think that summarizes really all the questions that were asked in addition to responses given by Yuxin. At this stage, I want just to check if there is one binding comment. I haven't given the floor to Victor. Professor Victor, you're still around. You have a comment, the last comment, before we can move to the last session of the closing of this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited that this project is coming at this time in Rwanda under the Global Soil Partnership, and of course, by implication, the African Soil Partnership. It's you can trust FAO. FAO will do everything humanly possible because of the responsibility they have under the Global Soil Partnership to help countries address their challenges with respect to sustainable soil fertility management. They have all that it takes. So I support everything that is happening. And I know this is not the forum through which to also appeal to FAO to bring such a project to Nigeria. Thank you. That's my comment.
Yes, yeah. I also concur what you say. I know the Global Soil Management Secretariat have heard about your query, and probably further discussion will be needed at that level. So please, in the interest of time, allow me to close this session and really congratulate all the speakers who have intervened. And let's go to the last session, which is the closing. So it was planned that Dr. Charles Buchagu would say something, but I guess Pascal have spoken on his behalf. And let's just hear from the FAO representative to Rwanda, who will speak on behalf of all the stakeholders in the country, and who will give us a closing remarks to this meeting. Mr. Galbel, the floor is yours for your closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Otto, for moderating quite well this Inception workshop. I will start my closing remarks with words of thanks to our Chinese partners for founding this very important project on sustainable soil management capacity development in Africa. That's very much appreciated. I'm also very much appreciative of the participation and the great interest that the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board has shown from the design of the project until now, and will certainly pursue now that we start in the implementation phase. I very much appreciate our collaboration with RAB, and many thanks to the RAB representatives that have joined this call. That's very much appreciated. My colleagues from headquarters in Rome, from regional office in Africa, from the sub-regional office in Addis Ababa, and from our country office, I appreciate your support in many ways, and not only for this project that we are launching today, but for all projects implemented by FAO Rwanda. I want to say after Dr. Charles Buchagu that this project is coming at the right time, as he said. He said this project is coming at the right time because what the project is addressing is much needed, and something similar has already started with support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. What it means is that through the implementation of this project, we even have the possibility to spread partnership, to people, to donors of the same interests, like the one of this project. So we have a golden opportunity here. And the other reason why I think this project is timely is that Rwanda has adhered to the hand-in-hand initiative of FAO. And the soil productivity, the areas, improving the potential, agricultural production potential of different agroecological zones is something very important for this hand-in-hand initiative. And I'm pretty convinced that this project will be doing something that is so important for the hand-in-hand initiative that we are currently developing. So we are set to go. As I can see, we are ready on each side. Rwanda headquarters, regional office, sub-regional office. And I wish to say that we expect quite a lot from the implementation of this project, and I count on your support. Thank you so much for joining this call. Much appreciated. Over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Galubel. I just want to say that this workshop is ending there. And I thank everybody who has taken time to participate and give us all the very valuable and important contribution. So we will probably contact different stakeholders at the national level for further meetings and discussion on the work plan, on the activities, etc. So I want to thank everyone on my behalf also, and I wish you a pleasant day. Thank you. The meeting is ended.
So everybody, can you please open your camera and say bye-bye to each other?
Yeah,
thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
please keep in touch.
Bye-bye.
Be in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wish you well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Ciao.
Have a good day.
Excellent day. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for